Today here is celebrity chef Mr. Heston Blumenthal, and we will be talking about his food, the way he cooks, and food science.
All sorts of stuff.
The first thing when we see about you, if we Google your name, is all about food science. So what is food science?
Cooking and eating, science is just a way to describe things.
Okay.
So when we cook, we take, let's say, take some vegetables, chop them, you mix them, you heat them maybe. That's physics. So you're physically doing something to the vegetables. That's physics.
Right.
As a result of that physical action to those vegetables, you produce new molecules, which is chemistry.
Right.
And those molecules will be molecules and other particles in there, which will, as the texture changes and the flavor changes. So that's chemistry. So we've got physics, we've got chemistry. Then you eat it. We've got biology. In a recipe, you will need some maths. Obviously, if you want to read a recipe, you will need language. So when we cook, science happens. In fact, it's impossible to cook without it. And some scientists say that chefs are practical physicists. Over the last few years, there's been a misconception that you've got cooking and scientific cooking. It's all cooking.
But knowing the science, as you say, behind it, or how important is it to know to help improve the taste?
You need an A-level in chemistry, organic chemistry or something.
But you do have an honorary degree in chemistry.
The bizarre thing is, I left school, I failed my O-level chemistry.
Okay.
No, was never good enough to take an
But now you
A-level.
have an honorary
I've got
PhD.
I don't know, 3 or 4 doctorates, masters, and the biggest one of all, which was incredible, the Royal Society of Chemistry, which is the only chef that's, Marie Curie and Einstein are in the Royal Society of Chemistry. So, but it was because I think what I did was this is my coat of arms here.
Yes, you mentioned that in the section too.
And my motto is question everything. Now, everything always has 2 different perspectives. So by that, I mean question everything, which could be the whole universe, and question every single thing, which is everything in the universe.
Right.
So by questioning, what happens when school teaches us not to question? It only asks us to question when they tell us to question.
Right, right.
Otherwise, you don't question. But without questioning, how do you know? And questions that don't have answers keep us going. But we always have to find an answer. And there's never one reason for anything, never one reason. There could be one prominent reason. So by questioning, I couldn't read organic chemistry, but I did want to know why eggs make a souffle rise. And if I overcooked my custard and it went like scrambled eggs, I wanted to know why. Because when you know why, then it gives you go, right, there's another tool in my box, so I can get on with something new now because I understand that. Unfortunately, so much science cuts people off. It's too technical.
Creates a barrier, you were saying?
Yeah, it creates a barrier.
The other very interesting thing about you, or if I Google again your restaurant, the Michelin-starred restaurant, the Fat Duck, is how you are experimenting with food to create nostalgia for your guests. How does that work? And for that to work, how well do you need to know your guests?
Well, I started this years ago. I realised I was telling stories through my food without realising it. I realised it more recently. I've been doing it for years. But I went on a holiday with my family, and my son was he's now 27, so this is about 15 years ago. I walked in, we had a cottage, walked into the living room, and he was watching TV. Now, even if they had this in India, you'll be too young to remember it.
Right.
But there was a Pink Panther show.
Yes.
And there was a kid drives up in a pink car, and the cartoon Pink Panther gets out, and the song was the Wrinkly Pink Panther.
Right.
And I heard this song, and I thought, oh my God. I remember there was a Pink Panther chocolate bar when I was a kid.
Okay.
But I forgot about it. It was pink, and it was wrapped in silver with a pink wrapper, with the Pink Panther, you know, the cartoon with I think he probably had a cigarette in a cigarette holder with his sort of tail like this. And I'm consulting for one of the world's largest perfume flavour houses at the time, and probably I'd call him maybe my mentor, Tony Blake. I phoned him up and I said, Pink Panther chocolate bar, what was it? And I imagined it was strawberry, but it's not like, my memory of it is not like eating a strawberry.
Yeah.
He said it was a molecule called pharanyl, which in fact just so happened this company had the patent for.
Okay.
There's more pharanyl in pineapple and meat than there is in strawberries. So he sent me a bottle. I sniffed it and it was like a Back to the Future moment. Shoo, straight back to childhood. Because smell has the biggest trigger of memory of all of the senses.
Right.
So I thought, God, wouldn't it be great if I had this idea? I told the story. I did these nostalgia cards and put them on every table and told the story. And so I asked people to put the decade. I didn't want them to put, it might be rude to ask on their age, but what decade you grew up and childhood nostalgic sweets. And we collected these cards. I didn't at first really think of doing anything with them. I just thought it's a really good way to break the ice.
Right.
Because people are going to start talking about their memories. Because, you know, I wanted that feeling that I had with the Pink Panther moment with my son.
Right.
I wanted them to do it. And we had some amazing responses. One of them, which was incredible, this card said, "You saved our marriage." This couple were getting divorced.
Really?
But they got their table for the fat duck and it was really hard to get in. So they thought they'd had their court date was ready, their divorce date. And they thought, right, let's honour our booking. We'll just go for lunch anyway. They sat there and then they had the card. So they started to write down
and they connected over that.
And they remembered that actually what they've been doing is focusing on all the negative stuff.
Right.
But they had an awful lot of positive stuff. So they cancelled their divorce. So I've spent the last 7 years trying to find moments from customers before they come in, either one of their loved ones, or you can use social media, but we got the reservation process, ask them some questions, and then just build up some information. So if you could just try and find a little trigger.
So then you customize each meal for your customer. For each of your guests, it's different.
It was a very, very hard thing to do. It's the same. It's effectively the same meal, and it's you know, we've got gluten-free, vegetarian. But it's effectively the same meal. But your sound of the sea might be different. But it might be something with the noise of your mum in the background calling your name, for example, or there might be a spice in something, as long as it sits in the dish,
right,
with a little nudge, you know, that it's been done for you. But you think, how did you know that? It's been one of the hardest things that I've ever done, because I had the idea about 7-8 years ago, and when I told my couple of the head chefs, this is what we're going to do. And then when I saw their faces looking back at me, it was like this. I expected the same excitement. So,
but they were probably thinking about how difficult it will be to execute.
The amount of work. So we've just done, we've just put a new Christmas menu on, and with the storytelling. Have you heard of the hero's journey?
Yes, I have.
It was Joseph Campbell in the 60s. Took great stories from the Quran to the Bible to Homer and many other fairy tales, and found a pattern to the storytelling.
Right.
And the stories that stand the test of time because human beings connect with them. And there's 7 to 12 stages to it. And all Star Wars films, Harry Potter films, all of these films follow the hero's journey pattern. So we've done that with the Christmas menu, and it's about a Christmas tree.
Okay.
But think about Woody, Toy Story.
Sorry?
You know Toy Story?
Yeah.
Woody.
Yeah.
But where Woody's think of the Christmas tree. So we follow that. But then with individuals, we will then inject something, and also clearly different cultures. So if somebody's
that was my next question.
Very Jewish, they don't celebrate Christmas.
Right.
And even in Europe, Christmas is celebrated on the 24th, not the 25th.
Right.
So again, it's another complicated thing, but we do.
So how do you make adjustments for those cultural differences?
We just do as much research as we possibly can.
You work so much with people's emotions, nostalgia. You're trying to take them back through your food.
Yeah.
Having done all that, what stirs nostalgia in you? What kind of food do you enjoy eating? What makes you comfortable? What brings back memories to you?
It depends on the mood, where I am, even the day of the week.
Okay.
If it's hot, if it's cold, who I'm with. But there are some times, I've just finished a TV show with, it's Channel 4 and Netflix actually, cooking competition called Crazy Delicious. It's not out till January, but it comes on Channel 4. Then in Netflix, it comes out 6 weeks later. So you'll be able to get it here. But it's the first time, it's the idea of Crazy Delicious. It's really about celebrating. You've got to get the balance between imagination, a bit like I was saying in my talk, human being, human doing, imagination and delicious. And I can't remember the dishes, but I had a couple of moments where I tasted the contestants' dishes and bang, oh my God, I was like in Edgware Road in London at 8 years old, but I didn't expect to find it there.
Right.
That's
so do you have, and this will be my last question, and it's actually a repeat because we have to wrap up now, though this was very interesting, but one dish which takes you to a happy place. Do you have any food like that?
I have many dishes that take me to happy places.
What are those?
Probably at the moment, because I live in a national park in Provence. And I've cooked it many times. I have a unique way of cooking it. I lose myself in the dish when I'm cooking it. Ratatouille.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you ask me in a month's time,
it'll change.
It could be completely different.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blumenthal. It was wonderful having you.
Thank you.